Welcome back to the F1 Ultimate Career Mode, where we are following along the story of Christian Waters in his Formula One career. Last race was really exciting. If you haven't seen that video, please go back and watch it. I'm sorry for the 2-week break between videos. I went away 1 week, and the following week all my work came on top of me in real life, so wasn't able to finish up this video and get it out, but it's here now. So as you can see, we're 9th in the standings. We've got a ways to go still when it comes to getting the most performance that we can out of the car. Here I'm just making sure that the difficulty is set the way that I feel like it needs to be set. So I've just been doing legend difficulty for qualifying to make that harder, and then just sort of the difficulty underneath that just to make it a little bit more manageable in the race. So let's get out and get to practice.
We'll make the changes you requested. Let's not push the car too much in the first few laps. The track's green and there'll be a lack of grip.
Getting to grips with the car, I was probably about 4 seconds off the pace at the start of P1, it took me several laps to sort of acclimatize to everything. I tried different things, and obviously trying the soft tires now. So I did a longer run, I should say, on the mediums, and then it's going out on the softs for hopefully a faster run. But I was struggling to get the most out of it, so I only did like a 21.2 on the mediums, and that's not even race pace really. Race pace is probably about a 128 or a 127. So yeah, I hadn't got up to full speed yet, but as the session goes on, I do get to grips better. Here we are at the end of practice and finish up on 18th place. So a 124 is pretty slow still for soft tires. Daniel's doing like a 118.9, which definitely doesn't bode well for us for qualifying if we can't hit those sort of highs. So we gear ourselves up to go out on our first time lap. I like to, at Monaco especially, just go straight out onto the softs. There's not much point in putting a banker lap in the mediums because it's just too slow. Like the mediums are about second to 1.2 seconds a lap slower than the softs. So you really don't have any benefit of doing that running at all. So here we are gearing up to do our first lap around Monaco in qualifying. Here we are coming up to the line, and it is only a 1:21.4, which is pretty garbage. And Button just gets right in our way there as he comes out of the pits. I decide to just put on another set of softs. I've decided already that that there is like almost zero chance that I'm getting through to Q2, at least at the pace that I'm going. That's what makes legendary difficulty quite hard, because you got to nail everything. You got to be basically perfect in qualifying. So we gear up to go out again, and although it looks good on paper here at the moment, I know that I'm like nowhere near. So I'm going out again to see what I can do. On our second time lap here, we were going quite well, but unfortunately, as we come out of the tunnel, there's a huge pile up at the chicane here, and I have to completely put on the brakes and stop. There's just no way to complete the lap, so it was by far my best lap of the entire weekend, and had to abort it. So I just decided to scrap it and go out one more time. And this is it. It's all or nothing. I've got to just make it happen in this lap. So let's follow along as I do my final run in Q1. Kovalainen was not really in my way. I was sort of trying to use him as a slipstream, I guess. There is a bit of dirty air here, but I drop back right before the corner just so that I can get good turn in into the casino sequence here. He moves out of the way for me as we break going down into the hairpin. It's a very hard corner to get right. You've got to sort of go wide and then come back in. I didn't really nail it. I lost a lot of time on the outside, and I didn't hook the car up the way I should have. Coming into the tunnel here, it's really, you got to clip the inside curb and then go all the way to the outside with your foot already flat, effectively, to make the most of it. And that's easier said than done. Like I can say like theoretically what you need to do to drive fast, but to actually go ahead and do it is another challenge. As we go through to back here, full high speed, braking hard for the swimming pool, and I'm half a second down on the time that I need, but I'm 2 seconds up on my best time so far. So yeah, I found improvements. I found ways of driving the car that's better. But unfortunately, I'm not able to improve enough to make it to Q2. And even if I had made it to Q2, I wouldn't have had tyres anyway for that session. I basically used everything for Q1. And in the end, yeah, it was a 1:19 flat. Somehow Daniel gets a 1:18.7, which is just completely ridiculous.
there's just no way he would do that time in a Toro Rosso, but that's okay. This game can sometimes be a little bit funky, especially in qualifying. But yeah, let's get to the race. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better than qualifying. There is allegedly rain forecast for the race, but I was looking at the strategy, and look, you could easily put the softs on early on, but I decided to try and go for track position, and essentially start on the mediums. I'm slow anyway, like the way I see it, I'm slow anyway, so there's not much point in trying to be faster than everyone else on softs, because I'm just not going to beat them that way. So trying for track position, start on mediums. If the rain comes towards the end, or if it looks like it's going to rain, stay on the mediums until I have to pit for wets, and then just go for track position, which would be probably the best thing we can do. Like the race we won last time around was in the wet, so that's providing us the best opportunity for a good result. And I think that would be true here in Monaco today as well.
All set.
Here we are, lining up on the grid in 18th place, right behind our teammate. 5 red lights at Monaco. It's lights out and away we go. A pretty shit start, to be honest. Bogged right down at the beginning there. Being as cautious as I can into T1. Unfortunately, in this game, still the AI is incredibly slow on lap 1, and it's a little bit clunky coming up the hill. As you can see here, it's basically just a traffic jam as we come around the casino here. And I'm just sort of tagged on the back of Ricardo here. We make a position up as we head into the hairpin section here. I'm trying to just stay away from dive bombs and cutting people off as we shave off Senna's front wing there. He tried to make a move that just wasn't going to happen. But that's also what I was trying to avoid as well as we go through the tunnel here. I was sort of losing ground early on here. I brake pretty deep into the Nouvelle chicane here, but throughout the lead up to that run through the tunnel, I'm a little bit slow, so it tends to even itself out. So I usually catch up in Sector 3, which is a stronger sector for myself than Sector 2. Sector 2 is probably the sector that I need the most work on in Monaco, just generally, as I'm trying to stay with Daniel here. And we cut now to later on into lap 2. And you can see, like, I'm right behind him trying to make a move happen. Half-heartedly tried chucking it down the inside there, but there was just no room. And I couldn't chuck it down the hairpin either. There was just nothing happening there. But I was, at this point, I felt as though I was as fast as this group of cars in front of me. And so I was working very hard to try and, get close enough to them that I could do an overtake. Cutting to lap 3 here, You can see how much time I gain just in the breaking point of the Nouvelle chicane. And I catch right up to the back of Ricciardo here on the tail end of lap 3. Just trying to be more consistent because I'm not able to like consistently maintain my gap. So my strategy is if I can just get ahead and get some clean air, I should be able to. I think I can get in front of, I believe it's Hulkenberg at the front of this train. I think that's possible. So 13th is definitely on the cards as they go around the outside of Ricciardo into Saint Devot as we come up the hill now. It was a good move, clean. I knew I was faster, so I just decided to send it. And now I'm like directly on the back of Grosjean. He has been held up by the Force India in front of him, so I've just been trying. Yeah, it is Hulkenberg. I've been trying very hard to get past both of them because they're kind of holding me up a little bit. I found a bit of pace just in race trim versus what I was getting in qualifying as we come up the hill again, cutting a little bit later to the lap. And I'm like all over the back of Grosjean here. You can see trying to find any way past him that I can. And he's just putting his car in the right spots, making it very difficult for me. Nothing doing it into the hairpin either. But I was right on the back here and I got a massive snap of oversteer coming out of that corner from the dirty air behind him. But I managed to maintain a somewhat okay gap coming through the tunnel. So I knew that breaking into the tunnel I would outbrake him, and he was sort of right on the apex, so I had to sort of cut the corner to avoid contact. But I had to back off, and unfortunately there was a couple of laps here where I was just not able to make the move on him because it's just the difficulties of Monaco, right? Like, even if you are faster, you've got to find a gap somehow to drop into in order to overtake anybody. Crossing the line at lap 7 now, I just decided to dive down the inside at Saint Devot, but it just again wasn't there. I just didn't have the speed to complete the maneuver and had to back out. But I decided to just stay with him and see if I can just get a better run out of the tunnel. If I can just line him up for that, I would have a pretty good chance of getting in front of him because I feel like I am quicker even on the medium tires. As you can see, the gap is really small. I've got, and I keep having these snaps of oversteer out of that corner, so it's just hard for me to stay in contact with him. And once again, he just breaks away from me coming through the tunnel. So I brake really hard again into this corner, and once again I have to kind of cut it in avoiding action to try and not take him out. Next lap I try again, and it's a little bit better. I managed to stay with him a little bit better coming out of the tunnel, and I've lined him up much better. So now I'm just going to try and stay with him here through the swimming pool section. I am improving lap after lap, so my tyres haven't gone off a cliff or anything yet. But I brake too hard coming through the penultimate corner and I hit the barrier. So I have to ungracefully reverse onto the Monaco circuit, and all my progress that I'd been making is completely lost. We cut to lap 9 and everyone's in the pits now, or at least the first round of pit stops has started. So I just make a point to maybe extend my stint in my head and decide to push as hard as I can.
Daniel is coming to the pit. We think there's a chance of light rain in 15 minutes time. 15 minutes.
Jumping ahead now to lap 12, it's the end of my medium stint. I made it to P8 just on pit stops basically, but I have to come in. It doesn't, yes it looks cloudy, but I can't really stay out much longer for the risk of being eaten up by the guys behind me, because I am going much slower. They're on much fresher tyres than me. So I decided to take a pit stop, especially after that slide. My rears were kind of gone, and so Maldonado was able to dive down my inside and block the entry into the pits, but I forced my way through. So here we are for our stop finally, at the start of lap 13. So we got it all to play for. Finding time, I've got low fuel because we're towards the latter part of the race, and I'm on soft tyres, so I've got to make the most of them and use them all up. So I was pretty confident with my strategy. So long as there is no rain come the second half of this race, we should be on for an okay result. So I'm 16th now. Team expects me to hit 13th, so I am gunning for that. I know that there's that train of cars with Ricardo at the back of it. I can see them just going through the hairpin there. So that's the group that I'm attempting to catch up. So literally foot to the floor, I start trying to pump out qualifying laps. So I had been using my rich fuel mixture and having the engine turned all the way up, and as you can see, I did a lap that was 5 seconds faster than my next best. So did the fastest lap of the race in the process. So I definitely was on the pace now, and that's made all the difference. And by lap 16, I catch right up to the end of that train, with now Perez at the back of it. So points isn't on. I don't think points is on, as Perez is having some braking trouble, as my engineer said. So I was able to dive down the inside there. But it is definitely possible to still get a good result here. So if we can at least beat our teammate and exceed the targets that... Whoa, that's where you have an absolute tank slapper coming out of that first corner. If we can beat Ricardo and meet the team's objective, we can be happy with the day, I think. That's as good as it's going to get, given the car that we have and the situation that we find ourselves in. So let's see if we can chase everyone down. All the back markers there compromise Ricardo coming into the final corner there, and we're right on the back of him, and I decide to send it. I had the run on the outside, I had the racing line, so got the move done in the end, which was really good. Cut to the end of the lap, and I've caught right back up to that Hulkenberg Grosjean train again, and they're stuck right behind Karthikeyan. It makes me have to slam my brakes on. Once again, the AI in this game is super clumsy sometimes. So I just decided to pull the same move, and inadvertently I get both of them. I wasn't intending on doing a 2 overtake, but I did. And we're up to P12, which I think in the circumstances is well beyond what I expected to get out of this race, and it's definitely beyond the team's expectations as well. But yeah. Let's cut to the last lap of the race and see a pure lap of Monaco. I'm too far behind Kobayashi to catch him, and I am well clear of Hulkenberg. So P12 will be the finishing position. In the end, I definitely did get to grips with the track a little bit better and how to drive it best in these sorts of cars, which is a shame because there's only one more season of these regulations. So I'll have to get used to new regulations for the 2014 season. But yeah, pretty happy in the end with the result. So yeah, just enjoy the lap. Here we are coming across the line, completely out of fuel, nearly losing the place that we fought so hard to get. But yeah, finished 12th, which was a really good finish for us. No points, but I think that's to be expected on a track like this. Like Toro Rosso is not exactly a beast in the corners. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next race.